Only on Fox tonight, it's an engineering marvel. And without the Hoover Dam and the water it provides our state from the Colorado River, modern Phoenix most likely could not exist.
Now, building this dam 80 years ago was a massive construction project, and part of the infrastructure for that project still exists deep below Lake Mead. Troy Hayden dove down to take a look, and he joins us now live with the amazing story.
Yeah, this was fun. This was a great adventure. Hoover Dam tamed the Colorado River. It's built in a steep canyon. Let's look at it here using our 3D software. We'll go down and take a look at this dam, and it's just amazing, isn't it? But you can see how steep that canyon is. Now, they couldn't get all the infrastructure down in there to build that because it was just so steep. So they had to go about a mile north up in this area right here. And this is where our adventure takes place. Pointing our flashlights and straining our eyes, we see tracks rising out of the murky deep. We see tunnels, mollusk-covered girders. This is literally a swim back in time when the foundation for modern Arizona was built. Built with political will, engineering, sweat, and concrete. Lots and lots of concrete. Hoover Dam towers out of a desert canyon near Las Vegas. It provides a reliable water supply for California, Nevada, and Arizona. Without that water, the Phoenix of today would likely not exist. And building the dam was one of the biggest construction projects in the history of the United States. Using slide rules and math equations, remember, no computers back then, builders designed the dam, and in 1931 began work at this site in Black Canyon to tame the Colorado River. The dam was the biggest concrete structure in the world when it was built, made up of enough concrete for a 2-lane highway that would stretch all the way from San Francisco to New York. And all that concrete was mixed right on site. When the dam was finished, many of the plants used to make and mix this concrete were partially dismantled, but the remains were abandoned and then flooded, swallowed up by the newly created Lake Mead.
And these are where those concrete tunnels are.
Our aim, to explore some of those submerged ruins, some of these underwater ghost towns.
For the time, it was pretty complex. I mean, there was a whole railroad system down there.
So where are we going to go today?
We're going to go out here to the train hopper.
The train hopper was part of this huge aggregate plant, where rock was sorted into different sizes to be mixed into the cement for the dam. For most of the past 80 years, it's been more than 200 feet below the surface of the water, out of reach for all but a few super advanced technical divers. But because of the drought, the site is now just about 100 feet down, and we can dive for a look.
We have up to an hour of no decompression time on the bottom.
Joel Silverstein from Tech Diving Limited is running the dive. Chris Ball has been diving on Lake Mead for decades. And Captain John is at the helm of our dive boat. It's a solid team, all of them real pros. And it's important on a dive like this because it gets a little hairy. We'll show you that soon. Let's go. We descend down a fixed line, slowly adjusting to the increasing pressure of the water on our bodies. At 80 feet down, the water temperature is in the upper 60s, and we spot our first glimpse of the plant. Train tracks, and they're amazingly preserved. The grain in the wood clearly visible. I'm pretty blown away. The tracks were built to handle the weight of the trains fully loaded with rock. You can see them here in this historic photo. Next, we see the huge piles of rock or aggregate. They're still standing like the day 80 years ago the workers decided the dam didn't need anymore. The rock still looks smooth and polished. This is the pile on the north side of the plant you see here in this old photo. We find an old can down here. No telling how long it's been around. Part of the superstructure is near the edge of the pile. The old photo shows how it used to support the building above. And then we come to the most challenging part of the dive, exploring the 125-foot-long tunnel that stretches under the aggregate pile. You see it here. The entrance easily recognizable, but inside, it's dark and confined. With our lights, we spot a wheel that almost looks like you could still turn it. But this is not a comfortable place to be so far underwater. The visibility is deteriorating. We literally have to keep one hand on the wall to feel our way forward. Protrusions come up from the bottom and the top. But finally, sunlight and success. What a dive. At the surface, we get time to reflect on what we saw and what generations long ago accomplished here.
These guys were hard working. They were down there. The trains were coming in. They were dumping aggregate. There was conveyor belt system set up. I mean, these guys were down there working in 120-degree weather all day long.
These men and women that built Hoover Dam worked in this particular area, and I couldn't live in the town I live in, and you couldn't live in Phoenix if it wasn't for the work that they did. So it's pretty significant.
Significant and hidden from all but a few to see until tonight. I will acknowledge an excellent editing job there by photographer Corey Goodwin, and thanks again to Joel Silverstein and the crew for their help on this project. Now, coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to stay out of the water. You may think you know the Hoover Dam, but we found 5 secrets about this engineering wonder that might surprise you. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. So again, right now, I'm off to my Facebook page. If you have any questions or comments, we're up there live right now. I want to say thank you to everybody who was watching us here and is still watching us. So it's Troy Hayden, Fox 10. And thanks to everybody, John and Kerry. Reporting live, Troy Hayden, Fox 10 News.